Alright, hello ladies and gents, and welcome back to, well actually this is going to be the intro video for the new Let's Play. It's Fly here, and today I've got Lig and Medicakes, the co-hosts, I guess you would call it, of the Epic podcast, and my new guild leaders. Say hi guys.
Hey guys.
Alright, cool. The reason this is going to be new, pretty much, is if you look at my experience bar, and then my level, I'm about to turn in a quest that'll get me 80. Then we're going to go to Stormwind and discuss, well, I guess just take a look back at the 1 through 80 leveling experience real quick, and then maybe discuss, like, without spoilers, hopefully guys, your favorite parts of the 80 through 85, and what I'm mostly looking forward to in that. So without further ado, let's go.
Cool.
I think this is the first time I've actually been with somebody like this when I turned 80.
Don't worry, I'll go slow. Alright.
Wow.
Bam.
Grats.
Congrats.
Alright, to Stormwind.
The Stormwind, alright.
Anybody got a portal?
I was
not on
gonna
my
go
mage.
to Dally and then to Stormwind. I figured you guys were like Hearth.
Yeah,
my
I
hearth
am
is
Hearth.
to my hearth is to Dalaran, and then I was just gonna take the portal to Stormwind. Probably should
Okay.
have.
Fair enough.
Alright.
So where in Stormwind shall we meet?
Uh,
Because it is kind of a large city. Shitty? City. Sorry about that.
it's okay.
I haven't even had any beer yet today, and I'm already slurring my speech.
Let's just find an inn or somewhere where we can sit around and just talk.
Alright, there's the inn in the Dwarven District. Or Old Town. Let's go to Old Town.
Alright.
There's lots of
Yeah.
people there.
Oh god, Dalaran always makes my computer go nuts, even when there's not people here.
I was gonna say I had that same problem when everybody was hanging out there. I think that's part of the reason they separated everybody out is because they had such horrible problems with lag.
Oh good god, I'm getting 1 frame a second. Alright, ladies and gents, we'll be right back. I don't think you want to watch a PowerPoint presentation. Oh, right, there we go. Alright, it's working now. For those of you, oh god, there he goes again. Alright, just, you know what, alright, we return with stable frame rates. So yeah, the thing that we're gonna do here is we've got a bit of agenda, which anybody who watches my videos knows that's very rare for me, but it is an update / starting of a new Let's Play video, so yeah. I'll start it off with basically the first thing I wanted to talk about is the part you enjoyed most from 1 to 80, and I gotta say was the 1 through 60 content. The way they redid it and everything, much more enjoyable. I enjoyed particularly, I think it's in Badlands possibly, maybe Burn Steps, I'm not sure, but it's just a trio of quests, I do believe, where you essentially punch Deathwing in the face, grab him out of the sun, throw him to Kalimdor, and then challenge him to a knife fight. That's pretty good. I like that.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites too.
Yeah. Or the
I gotta admit.
or the druid in training, the troll druid in training who moonfires himself.
Okay, I don't think I did that one.
Oh, it's
See,
really
I
good.
haven't-
That one was cute.
I haven't started at 1 and gone and quested through all the way to 60. When they did the shattering and they brought in the new quest chains and everything, my mage was about 30, so I went from 30 to 60. And my Lobby tunes, I'm tanking through dungeons, so I'm not really doing the quests. But yeah, I did really enjoy that quest chain, and I think it was Badlands.
Yeah, it's whichever one's got the searing scar in it or whatever, where Deathwing kind of just went through there.
Yeah.
And I think if you ever are interested in doing that quest, Lig, it's in either East or Western Plaguelands. I think Western.
Okay, I'll have to check that one out.
Yeah, I highly recommend it to anybody leveling through. So now that I've pretty much gone over mine, Lig, what was yours for the 1 through 60 or 1 through 80, I guess?
I don't know that as far as 1 through 60 is concerned, because you really kind of got to separate them out because it's all brand new content.
Yeah.
The 60 through 80 is all a few years old. I don't know that I really did dig the Deathwing, that punch Deathwing in the face, that quest chain. I really liked that. And as far as anything else, as far as a specific quest, I think I would have to pick a zone, and I really liked what they did to Eastern Plaguelands, and Western Plaguelands for that matter. They kind of continued the story of the Lich King in Western Plaguelands with the undead and the scourge and everything kind of at odds with everybody still, and they're not gone, even though the Lich King died and all that stuff. And the way they did the phasing around, I don't remember the name of that town right now,
Anderhall.
but in the Western Plaguelands, yes.
Yeah, I was there a few days ago.
But I really like what they did there. I think pretty much everybody used to hate the Plaguelands.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I really like what they did with it in the Shattering and in Cataclysm. They made it enjoyable. I didn't realize how much fun I was having until, and I did this on my mage. I haven't done it on any of my other tunes, but I didn't realize how much fun I was having until I got the achievement for having done all the quests in the Plagueland. I thought, wow, So I think that alone, I didn't realize how long I was there. That alone, I think, is a testament to how good of a job they did in that zone. So, but that's mine.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you on that one. So I'm just gonna go on to Metacakes then.
Oh no. I'm going to speak from the viewpoint of when I was leveling the paladin, because I had gone through the 1 through 60 with the rogue and the priest, but I started the paladin after the shattering happened with Cataclysm, and it was really fun to go from 1 to basically 58 and going over those new quests. For the Lobies, especially the Eastern Western Plaguelands, because I used to hate it too, and then Lig was like, oh, you need to do it, I think you'd have fun. So I did on the Paladin, and I was pretty amazed at how much it changed and how much fun I did have.
Plus you got to do it on the Paladin with all that undead control that you get.
Yeah, I was giggling like insane, killing all those undead. And it was so much fun that I had to go back on my Warlock and do that section too. So.
Yeah. All this love we're given to the Eastern Plaguelands just makes me feel the urge to give a little shout out to the early parts of Darkshore, I guess it is, where you go to talk to Malfurion and there's a giant tornado going on around him.
Yes.
That was pretty awesome in my opinion too. But I guess I like the idea, Lignar, of chopping it up, I guess. So from the 60 to 70, the first time I went through Burning Crusade, I didn't really enjoy it. I enjoyed it, and I got that backwards, but now I don't enjoy it so much because I've had so many tunes there. But the one thing I did do different this time when I was leveling this tune, even though I didn't really have time to do much experience with it because I'm just trying to get this tune to 85 as quickly as possible, I checked out the Netherstorm, which I usually don't go there, and it was pretty fun. I enjoyed it. The quests, the big problem I had with the Burning Crusade content was all the quests always seemed to be so spread out and nowhere near each other. In Netherstorm, like, it's all broken up and it's, in islands and everything, and all the quests are generally on those same islands. So I really appreciated that one.
Yeah, I don't, and when it comes to that content, I'd say I myself don't really have a favorite quest chain or line, or zone rather. I know Medi does, but I'm in the same boat as you. Like the first time I went through there, I'm like, hey, this is kind of neat, and then the second time I went through there, I'm like, I got to do this crap again.
Yep.
And then the third time I went through there, and then the fourth time. So. Yeah, I'm just gonna throw that over to Medi because I know she's got a favorite zone that she likes.
Yeah, with every tune, I try to complete Sangamarsh. That has to be my favorite place for the Outlands, the total. I try to skip over Blade's Edge Mountain, Netherstorm. I don't really dabble that much into Shadowmoon Valley. I do like the quest over in Shadowmoon, except for the Nether Drake quest. Never again.
Never again.
Ever.
I
ever.
think I must have missed that quest, but you guys apparently have a loathing of it.
Yeah, it's a series of dailies to get to build up. It's a rep grind.
Oh, that's how you get the
And-
Nether Drake.
Yeah,
Alright, gotcha.
yeah.
Mhm.
Alright, so fresh in my mind, obviously, did it over the past couple days, is the Northrend content, and my favorite probably out of the whole thing is I really enjoyed
Ugh.
Borean Tundra. Ice Crown was alright. I went from Borean Tundra to... Actually, hold on, I need to look at my map real quick to remember where I went. Went to Borean Tundra, Dragonblight, did a little in Grizzly Hills, Zoldrak till 77, and then Ice Crown, and then obviously 79 to 80 was Storm Peaks, because, well, I know Storm Peaks pretty well. And I gotta say, Borean Tundra was my favorite part. It passed the quickest, but it had, I don't want to say the most unique quest, because that obviously goes to the fighting on Dragonback and freaking Storm Peaks. That was awesome. If I had to pick a single quest, the fighting on Dragonbacks is my favorite, but as a zone, I'd go with Borean Tundra, because, I mean, it's so vary, I guess is the word. Like, 1 second you're fighting proto-drakes, or not proto-drakes, but, you know, blue dragons and such up in, what is that area called?
Hodar.
You're fighting people up in Koldara, you're in the Nexus. I don't really enjoy the Nexus so much, but, you know, just being in that area is kind of cool. Or you're like, you know, you're in Valiant's Keep and you're fighting giant bats or finding cultists. It's just, generally, I enjoyed it pretty much the whole way through. Ignar, I'll edit that out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I'm on my 4th tune to go through the Northrend content now. Most of the first 2 tunes, my Death Knight and my Priest, went through the traditional way, did some leveling through quests, did some dungeons. My Chamois did some questing, but pretty much exclusive to dungeons now. I would say I might be an oddity. Most everybody I know, that when they go there, they prefer to start in Borean Tundra. I actually prefer Howling Fjord. Maybe it's because that's where I went first when I first went there on Lignar, on my Priest. And it was... I'm just familiar with it, so I kind of know the way the excuse me, the way the quests flow and everything. My favorite zone, mainly because partly of the music, partly of its appearance, is Grizzly Hills. I love Grizzly Hills. I can just hang out and listen to those fiddles all day long. Why
does everybody say they love Grizzly Hills music? It's pure pain for me to go through the music in there. I always shut it off.
Oh, I love the music there. It's I don't know why. It's just one of those things. When I first heard it, I thought, I could listen to it all day. And I actually did go into the archive files in the game and strip the music out, so I can listen to the music whenever I want. I will agree with you, though, that Grizzly Hills is a nice looking zone. If you turn your view distance up. If you've ever been into the Pacific Northwest in the United States, it reminds you a lot. When you go into Grizzly Hills, it reminds you a lot of the Seattle area, Washington, you know, just that area. It looks a lot like that. And I've been there once and thought it was absolutely gorgeous, and I kind of get to go there in-game, as cheesy as that might sound. Yeah. Whenever I want. But as far as, I think, honestly, as far as a quest chain, I never did the one you mentioned, I think it was earlier today, about the one that's based off of, or rather named after one of the devs, I think brothers. Yeah, I never did that quest chain, and everybody's always told me you need to, because it's kind of a deep, powerful story, and I've never done it.
The one over at Silent Vigil?
It's just south of, I don't know if it's called Silent Vigil, but it's just south of the Argent Tournament grounds.
Yeah, it's the Silent Vigil. That's where the guy is laying by the campfire. And you go through all,
It takes you like everywhere. You go through the Druids, you go to Alexstrasza, you go to the what are their names? The people that your people like, the Draenei people.
The Exodar. Yeah.
Yeah, I think probably my favorite quest chain. I really can't think of one. I mean, I kind of got to go towards the Nessingwary, just because his quest chains are always kind of tongue-in-cheek, even though they're kind of a grind. But just the whole Hemingway references and everything from him kind of makes them fun.
I like him as a character, but I think he's in Shalazar Basin, and that's one zone that thoroughly depressed me the first time I went through it on my DK, because there's like these quest lines where you're going through and you're like helping out the I can't remember what their names are. They're the little fish people, almost, kind of like. They remind me a little bit of the Murlocs. Yeah.
The Murlocs?
Yeah, the oracles.
Oh, the oracles, yes.
And usually games don't get to me that much, but there was this one part where I was leveling through there in the middle of the night, naturally, and you try and save one of them and it dies, and it says, "What did I do wrong?" And I was just like, "Aww." I was depressed. And I wanted to complete that quest line so bad. I wanted to get the guy who made me feel that bad, and then I get there and it's just like a 4-person quest and there's like 5 people on it this time of night, and I'm like, "Hey, does anybody want to do this with me?" Nope. I was just like, oh.
The burden of the hero or something like that. The hero's burden.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was kind of a depressing chain. But speaking of Shalazar Basin, quick tip to anybody watching the video: if you've done the quest chain to open up that portal that's there, it will connect you to Ungoro Crater, and that portal's still open. It's still active. So if you're in Ungoro Crater and you're like, "I need to go to Northrend," you can go to that portal and it'll take you to Shalazar Basin. So that's still active.
Tips.
Yeah, one of our listeners gave us that tip.
Yeah.
All right.
So
just a tip. Metacakes, unless.
I'm gonna go against the norm to my favorite spot in Northrend to quest is Soldrack. There's just something about the trolls and something. Maybe it's the purple blue. I have a thing with purple blue, kind of like the Solace. I love that place. Back in the Kingdoms, I like Soldrack. I love Grizzly Hills, just for sentiment reasons, and the Fiddles. And that's where we had our PvP fun. During our dailies over there. I usually start with Borean Tundra. I tried giving Howling Fjord a try with Leg on our chamois, and I can't do it. I don't know why. It's just Borean Tundra seems easier for me.
I've actually never even been to Howling Fjord. I was going to go there on my DK because there was these pairs of shoulders that I really wanted, but I just never got around to it, and I got better shoulders like 5 minutes later because, well, it's Northrend.
Right. Yeah.
If I'm going crazy, because, if I'm level 78, 79 on the border, I go kind of nuts and I head to Ice Crown, and that's where I try to level to 80 on my tunes. That place is a whole grind to me.
Yeah, whereas I went more kind of opposite on that because I was just so used to Storm Peaks. I went from 77 to 79 out of Zoldrack and into Ice Crown. And then on 79, I was just like, well, I know these quests really well. I can get through them quick. And I went to Storm Peak, and that's, well, obviously where everybody just saw us finish my leveling.
Yeah, and the, I guess for another tip, if you can stomach the jousting, once you're 77 or 78, I think you have to be to do the jousting. It's actually a really good XP for the amount of time that it takes you, because they're pretty quick. And I use that on my mage, and it's actually pretty good gold too, like 20 gold or something like that.
For those of us who have no idea what you're talking about.
Just on basically it's on the border on the north side between Ice Crown and Storm Peaks is the Argent Tournament Grounds. There's a series of dailies there to do some jousting. The lore behind it is to prepare you for taking storming Ice Crown or the Citadel and taking down the Lich King, even though at no point in that raid are you in any way, shape, or form on a vehicle or jousting.
Thank God.
But anyway, there's a series of dailies there to where you can grind rep for each of the different factions, and you get different tokens you can buy different items with. But I think it opens up for you at either 77 or 78. You'll get something in the mail, actually.
74 is when you get the mail to go up there, I think.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize it was that early. Didn't used to be. Maybe they changed that with Cataclysm.
I'm not sure.
Fair enough. But yeah, it's actually pretty good experience points, pretty good gold actually. I believe one of our guildies actually has told me that if you consider how much time it takes and how much gold you get, that it is the best return on doing dailies for gold. Still,
We'll have to go over there.
And plus it helps you get rep with the different factions. You can get like champion, you know, like my I did them all on my priest, so I can be Lignar of Ironforge or Lignar of Stormwind or that kind of thing. So it depends on if that's what you want. It's an easy way to get that rep. Plus, you know, the gold. And if you're still leveling through, it's pretty good experience points.
Well, there you go. That's a nice little look down memory lane on of the 1 through 80 experience. Now into the next part where we're pretty much, I'm going to think of things for 80 to 85, what I'm looking forward to. And I've got to say, is the 85 just getting to be able to raid. And what I'm probably looking most forward to is one of my friends told me that I believe it's called Hyjal. Mount Hyjal is a really good quest chain, like going through there. It's like really deep and interesting,
Yes.
so I'm hoping that that'll be interesting.
It's a good storyline.
And, well, just being 85, that's going to be awesome. That's one of the big things that's like, woo! So yeah, Lig, best part without spoiling.
Best part. Okay, I'll try not to spoil any of the stories or the quest chains or anything. Hyjal does have a very good quest line, and it's actually, when 4.2 comes out in the next couple weeks, it's actually getting tacked onto. So I'm looking forward to that in the patch. I think you'll really enjoy that. One heads up, unless they've changed it, things respawn quickly.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Really quickly, and that was frustrating for me going through that zone.
Especially as a clothy.
Especially as a clothy, yeah.
No.
Oh, hell, even on my DK, it was kind of frustrating because like I would just want to loot the guy I just killed. Don't at least give me 10 seconds before he spawns again. But I think they adjusted some of that back, and I think it's kind of dependent on how populated the zone is. So if there's a lot of people in there, it respawns faster. Not sure. Vashir is gorgeous.
I've heard it's painful to level 3.
But it is annoying that the whole 3D space is kind of, it's something we're just not used to in this game. We're not used to, and unless you're flying, but then, you know, when you're flying, you're also not trying to kill mobs or not aggro stuff usually. But that's all that zone is it's underwater. It's neat, but it's disorienting. It's very, you can get turned around very easily based on up, down, and everything else. Aldum was awesome the first time. Lots of cutscenes really made it fun, but after you've done it once, it's just kind of like you want to skip them.
Kind of like the Wrathgate stuff. You can skip that now, I do believe.
Yeah. But yeah, I think you'll really like Autumn, especially, and again, I'm not trying to give too much away. Nothing that you wouldn't be able to hear anyway. I'm not going to give any specifics on Quest, but you said something the other day in Guild Chat about having the Indiana Jones theme stuck in your head. And if you go through Autumn without singing that song to yourself, maybe you just need to go take a nap. It's that simple. Twilight Highlands, I really dug the story there as it progresses to the end, and kind of leads you up to it talks about Deathwing and the conflict among the dragon flights and everything. I really dug it. You get a little bit of interaction with Thrall and what he's doing too.
Earthen Ring stuff. All right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Other than that, I can't think of anything else to talk. I mean, as far as picking one that's my favorite, as far as the quest chain and the story is concerned, I've got to say Twilight Highlands. All of them was fun, but I think Twilight Highlands really made it feel, it was more immersive to me because it didn't have as many cutscenes. It had enough to kind of pull me in, and the story was really good, and it kind of pulled me in too. All of them was Indiana Jones. It was fun, but and I'd still say my favorite zone as far as the appearance is concerned is probably Aldum. Even though after going through it a few times, the cutscenes can be kind of annoying, it's still kind of cool to go see that area. It's very well done the way they designed it.
All right, good. Medi. Ow,
Word.
ow. Alright. No,
You okay there?
it's a song, never mind. So your favorite 80 to 85 stuffs?
Getting 85. I know. I don't think I had a favorite place, honestly, except for Oldham. And that's just because I like the Egyptian look. I love the pyramids, and that's the only reason. The storyline, except for the Indiana Jones thing, uh, that was the only interesting part about it. Mount Hyjal, I kind of liked because after you go through it and you do a certain quest and it changes on you, um, I like that. I like the very ending of Mount Hyjal. I hated Deep Home.
Yeah,
Deep Home
see,
to me
I
felt
was so
like
fond
a
of Deep Home, I
huge
didn't even.
grind.
Yeah, like I just realized I was so fond of Deep Home, I didn't even mention it.
Right.
If you two could, like, for people new 80 to 85 such as myself, if you could, like, give them what is the word I'm looking for? A plan, a layout to go through 80 to 85, what zones would you guys suggest?
Well, I would
80.
say go to Vashir, and
Ew.
no, hold on, go to Vashir, get the seahorse, then get the hell out of Vashir,
Okay.
which is going to take you. I think it's maybe, I don't know how many quests it is, but it's not long. Just to get the seahorse and get that. So if you ever do decide to go back, you've already got it out of the way. Like if you're going for lore master and that kind of stuff, you've already got that part out of the way. Makes getting around a lot easier. Then I would go to Hyjal and quest through Hyjal until 80. Is it 82 where you get a deep home?
Yeah.
Yeah. So go through there till 82, and then I would go to Deep Home, and I would focus in Deep Home as opposed to, and the way they designed this is actually pretty good. You part of the lore, because there's a faction that's in Deep Home that you need to get the rep for, because they're the ones that have the shoulder enchanted. Everybody needs for PvE anyway. And the way they design the quest chain is you pretty much have to complete the story in Deep Home in order to even open the set of dailies for that faction.
Mm-hmm.
So go and get those dailies, at least get them open, so you can at least work on the rep with them in order to buy that enchant. Then that will probably take you to 83 easily. Go to Autumn, do that quest chain, and depending on what class you are, if you're a Clothy, they've got some good gear for you in Autumn. That faction is called Ramkahan.
Warlock.
And warlocks and priests, yeah, shadow priests, yeah. Then go to Twilight Highlands, and don't leave Twilight Highlands when you hit 85. Go through the story. You'll probably, if you enjoy the lore of the game at all, you'll really like the story in Twilight Highlands. And sprinkle in some dungeons, because you get some quests in dungeons now that maybe you experience this leveling to 80, but a lot of the quest givers are inside the dungeons. So as soon as you zone in, boom, there's 2 or 3 quests, and the pretty good quest rewards out of them, actually. Most of it's item level 333 gear that, you need 329 to get into heroic dungeons. So don't avoid the dungeons. I'd suggest you go do them. Because you get good experience points to help you level, you get good gear, which will just make leveling a little bit easier as you're out in the world. But that's how I would do it. That's how I've done it, actually, on the 385s that I have.
Look at him. He's all nonchalant.
So
just the 385s.
Well, like, she's got 3 or 4. 3, I think.
Yeah, 3.
So. But that's my tip. That's the plan that I would suggest.
Anything you would change?
No, I mean, the plan's the same. Not to be afraid of going into dungeons, and especially if you're new to WoW in general, and you want to experience raids, the dungeons are the best place to learn. Even if you have to go in with a pug, I know it's crappy, it's frustrating. Welcome to raiding. But that's going to be your best experience, you know, under the pressure, as frustrating as it is. That's where you're really going to learn your character and how you play. You know, when I was on Medi, I didn't want to go into pugs. I didn't want to be the healer in a pug because I was always afraid of, you know, them blaming the healer. But I had to get thick skin and I had to go in because that's the only way that I was going to learn as a healer. So don't be
Yeah.
afraid to do that.
I would say that to viewers, but my only problem really with pugs and dungeons and everything is other DPS, and not so much in the dungeon itself, is just the ready check.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to the game.
Alright,
Yeah.
so unless you guys have anything else you'd like to talk about, I'd say that's an update and a beginning to hopefully a good LP.
You know, hurry up, get 85 rate of this.
Yeah,
Do
thanks.
it.
Yeah, and congrats on 80.
Alright,
Yeah.
there's something I was going to say here and I completely forgot. So, thanks for watching this episode of, or well, rather the first episode of Let's Play Cataclysm 80 to 85. I hope you guys tune back in, and thanks for being here, Lig and Medi.
Woot.
Say bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye, and thanks for having us. It was a pleasure.